What's up, everybody? Welcome to Remark Trading. My goal of this channel is to simplify trading. I focus on just the supply and demand strategy. You have supply zone here at the red box, demand zone down here in the green box. There are a ton of strategies out there. You have Bollinger Bands, Elliott Waves, EMAs, SMAs, MAs, and the list goes on and on. It's hard to become an expert until you actually do choose one strategy and focus on that and only that. And for me, that's the supply and demand strategy. I've boiled it down to 3 steps that fit this strategy. Number one, just to make it really simple, number one is buy dips and short rips. Easy enough, right? Number two, buy dips and short rips at key levels. I'm not just going to buy any dip that comes on this chart. If it's not in between my supply or inside my supply or demand zones, I'm not touching it. It is just noise. So I'm not going to buy a little dip like this because there's no significant importance to that level. And the same thing on the spike side, on the rips. I'm not going to short this because there's no importance to the level. Once it gets up to the supply zone, that's a different story. And that brings me to step 3, which is buy dips and short rips at important levels, but analyze the price and the chart once it gets down into those zones. I'm not just going to buy and go long at a demand zone right when it touches, because there are times when it just slices right through, whether it's because of news, COVID, whatever, a couple years ago we all experienced. There are news events that can just slice right through demand and supply zones. So you want to see buyers step up there. You want to see sellers kind of dissipating a little bit. I like to look for a higher low in at least a 5-minute time frame. And we have a pretty good example here. We got a low inside this demand zone at 45.96 and then a higher low at 45.99. And that's a good sign. Once you see this dip get bought up, you realize, okay, buyers are going to go ahead and buy up this dip. We should hold the low. And then ideally, you want to hold your profits once you go long here to the next supply zone. That's the goal. It doesn't always get there. So feel free to take your profits whenever at the first spike. Whatever you're comfortable with. Take profits. There's nothing wrong with taking profits quick. Same thing on the supply zone side, right? We want to catch a lower high on at least a 5-minute time frame and ride it down. I trade just the S&P 500's future, ES Mini. It's the leading market of the world. I like how nothing can really alter it. I came from small caps and penny stocks where all it takes is for somebody with a couple thousand followers on Twitter to speak negative about this stock. Next thing you know, it's down 50%. It truly is ridiculous. And how can you rely on that? There's no strategy that can work around that when at any moment it could plummet because of what somebody says on social media. You're not going to get that here on the S&P 500. Like I said, there are news that can drive the market. And so when there's something like COVID, that's a different story, but it is rare and it's a lot more predictable than small caps. What I'm going to do is post daily recaps of the S&P 500 ES Micro here every day. Kind of going over about what supply zones and demand zones that we hit, any trades that I took, anything like that, anything else I want to go over. I hope you guys do enjoy this channel. Again, welcome, and I'll see you guys on the recaps.